Hello, everybody. If you're a Knicks fan, as I am, it's been a pretty big day if you're a fan of this team. A few notable, I would say, notable signings. We have a lot of cap room, so it makes sense. I mean, we essentially drafted cap space in the NBA draft, so obviously we're going to sign a whole bunch of players. Well, today we signed Isaiah Hartenstein for a 2-year deal worth something like 16 or $16.7 million. I've seen reports, conflicting reports of both. I'm not exactly sure which one it is. Either way, I'm splitting hairs. I like the deal. About $8 million a year is a pretty good deal for a guy like Hartenstein. One of the biggest problems with the Knicks has been depth. Also, we don't have any real stars, but at least we're addressing one of those problems. Given the fact that we have so much cap space, the Knicks, this is, and the fact that our main backup to Mitchell Robinson last year was Jericho Sims, who, I know this isn't saying much about Isaiah Hartenstein. It's saying more about Jericho Sims, but Isaiah Hartenstein is a much better player than Jericho Sims. So there's something really that can go wrong with this move. I really don't think that anything is really so bad with this move. The Knicks have enough cap space to the point where we can eat $8 million a year for 2 years. It's fine. Even if he doesn't turn out to be that good and we don't want to re-sign him, all right, fine. Then you just lost $8 million a year for 2 years. Okay. The Knicks historically have tried to sign players for deals that they truly couldn't afford for lengths of time that were beyond the scope of rationale. That you couldn't truly rationalize it for a player who might maybe too old or just not that good and too much money, whatever the case may be. A lot of times that has happened. But this time, I actually can't get mad at this move. Hartenstein seems like a solid backup. He seems like a solid backup. He's gotten a lot better the past 2 years of his career. This past year, he started to shoot threes a little more, which I think is, I would say, a plus for a big man, even because big men are shooting threes a lot more now, and he's a solid defender. So the $8 million a year is really nothing to sneeze at for a guy like Hartenstein. Overall, I would say this is a slight win for the Knicks. As a fan, it makes me cautiously optimistic, I would say. But ultimately, we have to see how the rest of the offseason goes. I mean, it could be a disaster for us and it could be terrible. And, if we're a bad team anyway, Isaiah Hartenstein is not really going to do much. But if we're a solid team, then Hartenstein is a solid addition. So I guess we'll see what happens with Mitchell Robinson and everything else that's going to be going on in the offseason.